Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right.
You use the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Lincoln Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Before he was arrested for allegedly raping a woman near this Forest Park bus stop Saturday, immigration officers say German Matthews had been removed from the country 5 times.
An asylum seeker from the Democratic Republic of Congo was arrested yesterday for allegedly sexually assaulting an employee inside a local hotel.
All right, well, for the second time in less than a week, a person seeking asylum living in Western New York faces a sexual assault charge.
This morning, a suspect is under arrest in the slaying of Texas high school cheerleader Lisbeth Medina. The suspect, identified as Rafael Govea Romero, who police say is undocumented.
Asylum seeker accused of killing another tonight on Randall's Island.
In New York, a 15-year-old is under arrest after allegedly shooting a tourist in a store in Times Square and firing at police.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms to Fox News that the NYPD arrested 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra in September. 1 year earlier, Ibarra, a Venezuelan national, had illegally entered the U.S. near El Paso. Last week, police arrested him for the murder of Lincoln Riley.
Louisiana police saying this, a 19-year-old man from Honduras is accused of raping a 14-year-old girl and committing an armed robbery.
Spokesperson for the sheriff's office says all 3 are undocumented immigrants from Guatemala. They face various charges, but the sheriff's office says they forced a woman into a car, then committed sexual battery on her at 2 different locations.
Tonight, a migrant has been charged with raping a 15-year-old disabled girl.
Now to Michigan, where an undocumented migrant is charged in the carjacking and also murder of a Michigan woman.
Elvis Jesus Hernandez Pernalete, who also goes by Luis Guevara, has been charged with criminal sexual abuse, aggravated battery, and strangulation.
A West New York man is charged with attempted murder. Police say Ernesto Lara Rojo cut a woman's throat with a razor blade.
An 18-year-old undocumented migrant from El Salvador has been arrested in Mendota for murdering a man and dismembering his body.
You hear at 9, an arrest made for an alleged kidnapping of a child. The sheriff's office says that the suspect sexually assaulted a minor. Details right now not immediately made known. During the case at this time, investigators say Marvin Lopez is undocumented and from Guatemala.
Well, in West Virginia, an arrest has been made after a woman's body was found in a burning field in Martinsburg. Deputies say the suspect in the murder is David Antonio Calderon. They say he is from El Salvador.
A grand jury is set to meet today to decide the next steps of a case of an illegal immigrant who allegedly committed sex crimes against a 14-year-old girl.
Deputies went to a home in Oakfield where the resident reported a 12-year-old girl came to the door seeking help. The girl reported escaping from a man trying to assault her in a vehicle while she was bound and blindfolded.
Law enforcement in Baton Rouge uncovering an alleged human trafficking operation across multiple states. A federal complaint filed in the Middle District of Louisiana alleges a Venezuelan criminal organization organized this operation.
Police also saying that suspect Bernardo Raul Castro Mata currently resides at a migrant shelter not too far away from here.
Christian Inga was arraigned today in New York City on charges of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl after school last week. Police say the 25-year-old migrant from Ecuador approached 2 teens in the park at knife point. The suspect tied the boy and girl to one another, gagged them, then raped the girl before fleeing the scene.
5 men in the U.S. illegally were arrested Monday morning in northeast Missouri after a teenage girl was reported missing in Indiana. The suspects are accused of kidnapping the 14-year-old from her home.
Suspect identified as a Venezuelan migrant accused of shooting 2 officers after they tried to pull him over for driving the wrong way.
A 21-year-old undocumented migrant is behind bars for allegedly raping a 15-year-old girl in Albany.
A Guatemalan man is in the country illegally. Apparently is being charged with sexual battery on a 14-year-old girl.
A Haitian migrant accused of raping a teenager in a Rockland emergency shelter is now out on bail.
It says that they saw 26-year-old Hainson Hernandez Moran hitting the victim multiple times with the farming tool.
Tonight we are learning disturbing new details about the death of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray.
2 Venezuelan nationals are charged with murdering the young girl and dumping her body in a North Houston bayou.
Fox 17 News has learned the man accused of killing a Nashville restaurant owner is an illegal immigrant with a criminal record.
Who fired a rifle at a San Antonio police officer early this morning was in the country illegally.
A man accused of sexually assaulting a woman at a Charlotte tire shop is in the U.S. illegally.
Law enforcement officers arrested an undocumented immigrant on charges of sexual assault of a child.
A Jordanian citizen in the U.S. illegally is accused of sexually assaulting a Wausau woman.
This robbery last night when 2 men were mugged by teenagers. Robberies year to date in the park have more than tripled. The rise in robberies at least partly blamed on young migrants living in city shelters.
2 men who arrived to the United States illegally are arrested in Fort Wayne on rape charges.
A man accused of sexually assaulting a woman at a Charlotte tire shop is in the U.S. illegally.
A Kingston man has pleaded guilty to sexually abusing a 7-year-old girl. The Ulster County DA says 41-year-old Carlos Fernando Pinola Pop had sexual contact with the girl last September. He may be deported afterwards since he's undocumented.
Police say teens, even an 11-year-old, are being recruited by suspected migrant gang members at the city-funded Manhattan shelter, recruited to commit crimes in Times Square with near impunity for a gang that originated in a Venezuelan prison.
On November 18th, a woman was walking home when a man grabbed her and pulled her behind the bushes at the W and OD trail in Herndon and raped her, according to court documents. Police say Dennis Humberto Navarrete Romero raped the woman, and he's in the U.S. illegally.
Following developing news out of Aurora, police say they've detained at least a dozen undocumented immigrants in a home invasion and kidnapping investigation.
It happened at the Edge at Lowry Apartments along Dallas Street. That is the same complex that gained national attention earlier this year when armed suspects were caught on camera threatening some of the residents.
Today in Brooklyn, the man accused of setting a woman on fire on the F train faced a judge. Sebastian Zepeda, who police say is an undocumented immigrant, is charged with murder and arson.
Nicholas Jose Francisco appearing before a judge Friday morning accused of sexually abusing a 5-year-old girl.
I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.